Hey there, everybody. This is Kate, and I have decided that this week I'm going to do my little discussion on the differences between an English and an American Basset Hound. Um, Basset Hounds are cute, they're wrinkly, they have really big ears, and they're sweet, and they sleep all the time. But I wanted to do something fun because this has been a pretty rough summer, and I think everybody gets really stressed out, and I needed something to kind of blow off some steam and do something fun. So this is Max and Daisy Jane. Max was an English Basset Hound. I rescued him from Basset Buddies Rescue of Texas about 7 years ago. I had him for 5 years and he passed away almost 2 years ago. On the right you have Daisy Jane, and she is an American Basset Hound. I also rescued her about 3 years ago from Basset Buddies Rescue, and she is currently 10. So the English Basset Hound, which is Max, they are much bigger. They are usually at about 75 pounds or more. When Max was his heaviest, he was about 105 pounds. None of what's on him is fat, though. He had a lot of muscle underneath all those wrinkles and grumpy looks, as you can see. But there wasn't a lot of fat in him. With the wrinkles and the skin folds, there's always going to be some sort of a risk for having a yeast infection. So those were the problems I had most with him, and that's common in English Basset Hounds because they are more wrinkly, they have more skin folds. As far as health problems goes, he didn't really have any health problems. He had the occasional ear infection, but what I really had to make sure as far as his grooming needs go is that he had a lot of attention to the folds into underneath his legs, and using a special shampoo, or the groomer using a special shampoo, and that he was also always completely dry, never left wet if he was sloshing through some puddles in the backyard. Then I made sure he was pretty dried off afterwards. Um, Temperament, this dog could be in a room full of 50 people and he'd be asleep. I mean, he slept probably, even at 5, 6, 7 years old, he was sleeping almost 14 to 16 hours a day. I mean, that's just what you think of when you think of a Basset Hound. They're very lazy and they don't want to do anything. But as soon as you open a bag of chips, they are right there. um, and then going to the American Basset Hound, Miss Daisy Jane, she was named Daisy May, but when I was a little girl, one of my favorite songs was a song called Daisy Jane by the band America. That tells you how old I am. And I always wanted my own little Daisy Jane. So with the American Basset Hound, they're usually between 45 and 65 pounds. They're much smaller. She weighs about 50, and she's weighed that since I got her. Normal amount of skin, as far as coat color, same color patterns, same as the English Basset Hound, but she had a little more defined, and she's also got a lot of freckles on her stomach and on her chest. Health problems, same predisposition to any kind of Basset Hound related disease. When she was rescued, she had a bladder full of stones, of struvite stones, and was taken to surgery immediately. So she's been on a strict prescription diet for her urinary health. She did have to have another surgery after I had had her for about 6 months because it just kept building. We've got her on a really good regimen right now and no problems, crossing my fingers that we don't. Grooming needs, she sheds. I should have said this about Max. The English Basset Hounds shed a lot more than the American, but she sheds quite a bit too. Grooming needs, I always try to make sure that under her legs that she does not have any kind of wet spots, dry spots, anything I think is looking fungal or yeasty. Temperament, she's a little different, and I've seen this with other American Basset Hounds. They're more playful. I think it's just easier for them to get around. Sure, they have the same feet. Her little feet turn out, but she's quite playful. She's very, I think the American Basset Hounds are more for that family, for the nuclear family, because they like to play a lot. The English Basset Hounds, not so much. Sometimes I used to think that there was a prejudice against, or I'm sorry, for the English Basset Hound because of their droopier appearance, and that's actually true. Um, it's especially for dog shows, the English is more rumored to be more favorable because of that droopy appearance, because they look cuter, as you can see. You know, that grumpy, wrinkly look versus the smoother look of the American Basset Hound. So, I mean, in all honesty, it doesn't matter what kind of Basset Hound it is. They're just the most adorable dogs. I've never met a mean Basset Hound. No one can deny that they're loyal and they're just lovely. These are kind of their trophies. Or Max stole my Paul McCartney doll that I had gotten from a friend for my birthday years ago. I'm a big Beatles fan, so that's him sleeping. And of course, I would have let Max do anything because he was my best friend for a long time. And then Daisy Jane, of course, she has her little babies with her, little Disney babies, and there's a Rocky Raccoon in there. It's another reference to a Beatles song, but um, thank you all so much for taking time to listen to this, and everybody have a great weekend. Thank you so much.